Okay, guys, so I'm going to answer more of your questions from the Prime program. I want to remind you that if you want to see the previous lectures I've done on this topic, you can just log in at drboyceprime.com. Also, in drboyceprime.com, I give you guys, excuse me, a list of the different stocks that I'm actually selling options on and how I'm generating my income. I also share with you what Dr. Boyce is buying, so look under that section to find out what stocks that I like for long-term income generation or long-term wealth generation. And don't forget that when you're talking about something like selling stock options, you're picking a different disposition when it comes to your wealth building strategy. A lot of wealth comes from two things, what they call stock and flow. The stock is your wealth, the flow is your income. And sometimes it's hard to focus on both. Sometimes it's hard to be invested in something that generates both wealth and income at the same time. It's like a football team where you've got the lineman and you've got the running back. It's very rare that a lineman can be a running back, and it's very rare that a running back can be a lineman. So the point here is to sort of think about this. Look, when you're talking about generating income, which is what we do in the Prime program every week, we're constantly talking about generating income from this particular type of portfolio. The objectives change. So when I have my income generating portfolio, I'm not really as focused on capital gains as I am when I'm talking about long-term investments. So in the Black Stock Market program, where we meet every single Tuesday, I'm picking stocks that I want to own and just hold them and just wait out the storm. When the market goes up, I'm going to make money because the wealth is going to go up. I'm going to make that from what they call capital gains. With my options portfolio, it's a different approach. Number one, we're much more bearish, which has actually worked out extremely well this year because the market has been down. Bearish means we're selling things. We've been selling options and generating consistent income. We've also been buying put options, which is another bearish strategy, which protects you from the downside. So when you take a bearish disposition, not only are you sort of dealing with a different kind of market environment, but you're also in the Prime program, we're focused mostly on income. Remember, Prime stands for passive recurring income machine. That is consistent income that you make in a passive fashion that is like clockwork every single week. So the way I think about my options portfolio, and I want to reiterate this because I say this to you guys a lot in class, is that I don't really think of it like, okay, what's this thing worth? What's this thing worth if I sell it? I don't want to sell my income machine because I want to keep my income coming. So I think of my options portfolio the same way you might think about a small business. Let's say you start a small business with your cousin, and let's say that it is and I don't know, you're selling hot dogs on the corner, and each week you're generating income selling hot dogs on the corner. Well, you're not sitting around thinking, well, what would this hot dog stand be worth if I sold it right now? What's the wealth value of this hot dog stand? If I tried to sell it, could I get 100,000, 200,000? Or if the value drops, from a 150 to 145 or 130, would you say, dang, we lost money this week? No, you wouldn't, because you're not going to sell. You're just making income from that hot dog stand. So your biggest concern is, how much income can I get this week? So that's what I do when I talk about a lot of my option stocks. The stocks that I buy for my options portfolio, I'm only focused on the weekly income. The capital gains part, I just hold my nose and kind of deal with the ups and downs. If you want to protect against some of the capital loss, you can buy some puts that'll protect you. But for the most part, a lot of these stocks have been incredibly volatile, and some of them have actually gone down in value. But the income has always been there, right? So even if the cow loses its value, you can still get the milk from the cow. So that's what the Prime program does, and I want to make sure we understand that focus, so you don't get freaked out if you see your equity values going up and down. This is not to be your main portfolio. I have three portfolios. One is to generate income. One is to basically be on standby in case I run into a good investment opportunity, almost like a venture capital fund. Like when I go into, I'm going to go into the yacht business with my wife. We're going to buy a very nice yacht, and we're going to charter the yacht, and we're going to generate income from the yacht. And I'm going to use some of my stock money to get into this business because I want to be diversified away from the stock market. I don't want all my money in the stock market. You don't want all your money in one place. And then the third portfolio I have is my long-term retirement, never touch, never sell portfolio, intergenerational wealth, all that stuff, right? So you got to kind of think about those in different tiers and keep that in mind. So I'm going to answer some of your questions here. Ryan Albert, and if you log in to drboyceprime.com, you can leave your questions. I will answer every single one of them, I promise. Ryan says, I placed a cover call on Ford this week. Stock jumped after its earnings report, and my shares never got called. What do I do with my shares? What should I do with my shares in my sold call contract? If they never got called and the expiration date hit, then those shares are still yours. You can sell more calls on those shares. You can generate more income from it. I don't know why anyone wouldn't execute if it was in the money. So maybe there's a mistake. Maybe the expiration date is different from what you thought. Maybe it was so little in the money that it just didn't matter. I don't know. I never see a scenario where an option expires in the money and it does not get called. Rakia says, can you discuss the capital gains tax that we may incur from getting shares called away prior to 1 year of holding the stock? Also, how are the premiums we receive taxed? Premiums are taxed as regular income. Also, the longer you hold a stock, the lower your tax bill. Speak to your tax professional about the specifics of that. But generally speaking, you want to be really careful about doing a lot of fast day trading, because that's going to just increase your tax bill, make your situation more complicated. Holding stocks longer is better. That's why in class we talk about rolling over your options as opposed to simply waiting them out and letting the shares get called and then buying them back, because there are specific IRS rules that discourage very fast day trading or weekly trading. Let's see. Elhaj says, are you able to purchase a live example with a low entry cover call step by step? Yeah, we already did one with a low entry one. I think it was Ford, where it didn't cost a lot to get into that. I'll do some more in class. And also the recordings of everything I've done. If you log into drboyceprime.com, you can find those recordings, and you can also find the assets that I've actually personally selected. What I'm going to do also is I'm going to find some that specifically have a low entry point, so you can get in at a low entry cost. And secondly, I'm going to find some that have a little less volatility for those of you that may not like the risk level of some of these investments, like Madrigal Pharmaceuticals that did really well a couple weeks ago. Probably the best investment that we made all year. That was a good investment, but it was also risky. It's a pharmaceutical company. There's a lot of risk in pharmaceutical companies. And so even though a lot of you did well, a lot of you made a ton of money, because I tweeted that out to you guys right before the stock just kind of went crazy. And some of you made hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think that's really awesome. But just know that every time things go well, they can always go bad. So the way to think like an investor, and this is why we have our financial therapy sessions on Sundays, is because I need you to understand how investors think. So the way an investor thinks is, you want to get in the habit of thinking in a contrarian way. An investor is a person who thinks about when times are good, they're thinking about when times can go bad. When things are up, they're thinking about when times are going to go down. When everyone's scared, the investor is taking risk. When everyone's taking risk, the investor backs off a little bit. They become a little bit scared. So really, you always want to make the move before everyone else, and you typically have to make the move that's different from everyone else, because if you follow the sheep tend to get slaughtered, and that's what happened in the stock market when it ended up dropping. Marcus says, Dr. Watkins and team, thank you for the quality options income content. I truly enjoyed the 3 sessions and learned practical income strategies. Dr. Watkins is an excellent instructor. Teach info so investors can grasp. I am confident in placing covered calls. Course value definitely outweighs the cost. Well, I appreciate you saying that, Marcus. Thank you so much. And Chanel is going to reach out to you all and get some testimonials from you guys for the Prime program. It's a really great program. I'm super proud of it, and I'm glad you like it. And so if you don't mind letting people know how great it is, that would be really cool. And also we're developing kind of an affiliate layout where you can actually bring some of your loved ones into the programs, or friends, etc., and get a percentage of whatever tuition they pay to be a part of the Black Business School. We're real serious, and we're really getting it done. We've actually taught over 10 million of our people how to invest, and so we did this with community power, community support. So if you log in, if you want to join, or if anybody in your family wants to join, just tell them to go log in at drboyceprime.com. If they go to drboyceprime.com, they can sign up now. Tell them they can use the code word Dr. Boyce, all one word, and they can get a discount on pretty much anything in the Black Business School. So drboyceprime.com is where they can go sign up. Let's see. Marcus says, what's a good rule of thumb to determine if a stock option has a sufficient quantity of volume and open interest? Well, if you go to barchart.com, where we end up discovering the stocks that we want to generate our income from, I look at how that option's volatility and volume ranks relative to the masses. So generally, a rule of thumb is I look for stocks that are in the highest category or the second to highest category. So they have like maybe very high volume and then high volume. And I don't go below that. I don't go to like low volume, because remember, low volume stocks that don't get traded very much, can be very risky because you don't have a lot of liquidity and you have what is called liquidity risk. Liquidity risk is basically the risk that you will hold an asset like a hot potato, and when you try to unload it, you can't, because there's nobody else on the other side willing to make that trade. Big companies don't have liquidity risk. Microsoft, IBM, Apple, Google, Facebook, they don't have liquidity risk. But some of these smaller stocks, these penny stocks that your friends are telling you to buy, the liquidity risk is insane. And I've seen people make a ton of money on an obscure crypto or on some small stock nobody's heard about. And when they went to go sell it, they couldn't sell it. They ended up losing money on the sale. So you want things that are liquid. Let's see. You asked also, Marquise, about ROI. Yeah. So when we use the options income finder, and if you log in at drboyceprime.com, you can see examples of lectures I've done on this. And I show you guys the 2% rule, and I explain all that in class. So just log in at drboyceprime.com. You can see the whole lecture where I break down the 2% rule and the 3% rule to determine how much ROI, how much income you'll get from that stock by selling the options that week. So just log in at drboyceprime.com. Everything's recorded there. Okay, so let's see. Ashwin says, continuing last Tuesday, I live with my parents. I get $900 a month. I'm starting my job soon, part-time, for additional income. I want to gain wealth, $100,000 monthly in my 30s. That way our family will be comfortable and continue growing our wealth. I'm 32. What's my strategy to gain $100,000 a month? That's very doable. I'm going to tell you, it sounds crazy, but I know a lot of people that make $100,000 a month, a lot of people. And it seems hard at first. At first, it just seems insane. It just seems like a ridiculous amount of money. But let me just tell you, I know people that do that. Like, if you go to like Lamar Tyler's mastermind or people in the Black Business School, there are just tons and tons of Black people that you'll never see on TV, that are not famous, that are making over $100,000 a month. And usually it comes, if you talk about people that went from rags to riches, that weren't born in wealth, that are making, and it may not be 100,000. You could be comfortable with 30,000 a month, 60,000 a month. Remember, 60,000 a month, that's more than most surgeons make. So don't feel like if you don't make 100,000 a month, you're a failure. But 10, 20, 30,000 a month can be really good money too, right? You can live your best life that way also. And the number one thing I've seen that's gotten people to that level is typically something related to starting some sort of a business. If you figure out, if you take a really good class in entrepreneurship, and in the Black Business School, Black Money 103 is our entrepreneurship program. If you learn how to start a business and learn how to sell something that people need, then you'd be amazed at how that can change your life. And the interesting thing, for example, in Black Money 103, one of the things that we did was we showed people how to take things that they do every day, maybe for free, and turn that into a business. So there was one lady who is a friend of my wife's, and she used to make this sea moss that everybody liked. Everybody wanted her sea moss, and she would give it away. And we said, well, instead of giving it away, why don't you sell it for a fair price? Because people, it's better they give the money to you than to give it to a stranger. So why not let them buy from you if that's what they want? So she tried it, and she was making money hand over fist. She made so much money that it dwarfed the income she made from her job. Her son quit his job. Her husband quit his job. And now they just sit at home making sea moss all day. So that one little idea can literally change everything, but you have to get in a space that's going to encourage you to be an entrepreneur. You can't be in these other spaces. So the Black Wealth Bootcamp, blackwealthbootcamp.com, that's really designed to help you get off the corporate plantation, give you the steps to leave your job and actually become a business owner or whatever it is, or independently wealthy. The passive recurring income machine, drboyceprime.com, is also designed to do that too. I showed my son how to make money. I said, look, you could go get a job and do regular stuff, or you could just, I got some stocks I can let you sell the options on. And if you do it right, then you can generate more money sitting in your bed than you can actually getting up and going to work every day. And for Black people, we didn't grow up like that. So I think for a lot of us, that seems foreign. But if you introduce it to your kids early, then they're going to just sort of see that as a way of life. It's a complete myth to believe that you have to work to make money. Like that's something you were told. That's not what rich people are telling their children. That's just honest to God truth. What they're telling their kids is you need capital to make money. And you have capital. It's just you don't have financial capital. You weren't born with financial capital, but you've got human capital. You've got creativity. You've got network capital. You've got all different kinds of capital that can be converted to money. But you have to learn how to think the right way. That's why we created in the Black Business School the first ever, world's first Black financial therapy department. We are the only institution on the planet that is completely dedicated to Black wealth. And we've gotten the best therapists and the best psychologists to work with the best financial experts to understand what psychological barriers, what brainwashing have they done to us to keep us from understanding how we can actually build wealth in our communities. It starts with how you're taught. It goes into how you think. So things like financial trauma is very real. Things like financial anxiety is very, very real. The inability, the fear of taking risk is very, very real. So we work through those things. And so as a member of the Prime program, you get invited to Dr. Alicia's sessions where she does financial therapy and introduces you to these ideas so you can take these things back to your family so they can get over their fear of investing and actually learn how to build wealth together. All right. So Karen Green says, I've seen the strike price is lower than the current price. So, for example, Tesla had a call with a strike price of 800 and the current price was 824.46. The premium was 27.45. Why would someone purchase these options if they could buy the stocks directly at a lower price? I get it. That makes sense. So what you're saying is that the difference between the stock price and the strike price is $24 approximately. Why would you pay $27 for the option? Well, the reason that you're paying $27 instead of 24 is because there's this thing they call the time premium. And the time premium basically says that because you have time until the expiration date, anything can happen. So I could go put down $27 and I'm not putting down 800. Like, so if Tesla was trading at 800, now this, you probably said this question before the stock split, but if Tesla is priced at 800 and I can get into the game and invest in Tesla for just $27, then I'm getting in kind of cheap. I'm getting a chance to play at a lower price. So ultimately, as the price moves and goes up and down and stuff like that, I can still get more of that. And that $3 is basically almost like pay to play. It's like if you go to the casino and you say, I want to roll the dice and have a chance to make money, well, they're going to charge you. You got to put some money on the table in order to do that. So the same thing is true with risk in terms of options. In order for you to buy that option, you can't just pay what its intrinsic value is. Intrinsic value is the value of the stock minus the strike price. What you have to pay is the intrinsic value plus the time premium. Okay. So if you log in at drboyceprime.com, there's a whole training on stock options and how they work. And there's a part where I explain to you what the time premium is versus what the intrinsic value is. So you can kind of understand the dynamics of options and add that to your portfolio in an appropriate way. Ashween says, continue from last Tuesday. Okay, you already asked about your parents. Okay, we answered that question before. Okay, Ashwin's pretty eager because that question, I've seen that question like 3 or 4 times. So, but that's good. He's going to make that $100,000 a month. Good for you. Let's see here. Diane says, I created my Robinhood account, but I feel a little uneasy about the amount to put on the account. Understand we must buy 100 shares of the stock initially. I'm just unsure of the stock to choose. Some reasonable stock prices for a beginner. I need help. Okay, here's where I make it easy for you, Diane. If you log in at drboyceprime.com, the program you signed up for, you can look and just see what stocks I'm selling my options on. You can make money the same way I make money. Okay, you can literally, I make a list and I tell you guys what's in my portfolio. And you guys, if you want to just follow along with me, you totally can. And that's as simple as it can be. So you don't actually have to understand all the working mechanics of why I chose certain assets, because, remember, I've been doing this for a long time. So I can see a lot of dynamics that maybe regular people can't see. But I can then at the end of all that assessment say, okay, I like this one, this one, this one, and this one. So out of the thousands of stocks that exist in the market, I can pick that, 7 or 8 that I think are great money makers that can generate income for you every week. And if you want to just follow along, you can certainly do that. Okay, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up this Q&A. But don't forget, if you want to see the recordings of all the Q&As we've done, all the lectures we've done, all the bonus materials that come with your program, everything else, just log in, go to drboyceprime.com. And also the other thing too is if you have a relative that wants to be in the Prime program, they can go to drboyceprime.com and sign up if they want to. But actually, if you sign up yourself, don't hesitate to share access with a family member or something. Just don't abuse the system. That's all we ask. But ultimately, we're totally okay with a buy one get one free kind of thing. If you're in and you want to bring your sister or your spouse, do that too. We have lots of couples that are in the program too, so it's really 2 for 1 for those who want to join. And the thing about it is that it does cost a little bit more than our other programs, but I've seen a lot of you that are able to make an extra $2,000-3,000 a month by being in the program. And so if you add that up over the course of the year, that's $36,000 a year. So I think if you're investing $6,000 or $7,000 a year to make $36,000 a year, you're doing well. And if you don't make that investment, then you lose $30,000 a year. And so you got to think about what that trade-off is. Most good things that will come to you in terms of investing are going to require some sort of sacrifice. And so I'm not telling you exactly how to proceed with that, but I'm here to encourage you and to congratulate you for being willing to make the sacrifice, because that's what's required for your income to go up. The income that I have wouldn't have been here if I hadn't made a lot of sacrifices. Believe me, the sacrifices were huge. So anyway, guys, take care, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.